Bienvenue. Oh, it's so good to see you. Come in, come in. It's Friday. I am in the parlor this morning, which is where I always want to spend Fridays. The parlor is the room for culture and conversation and the long afternoon. It's not a working room, not a making room. It's a room where you go to be entertained and edified and occasionally very pleasantly lost in something. There's a pile of books on the table beside the reading chair that has been growing all week in the way that piles of books grow when you are thinking about reading rather than actually doing it. I've been adding to it rather than subtracting from it, which is a habit I have decided to call curation rather than procrastination. This morning, we're making a summer reading list. Books and films and a few other quiet entertainments for the new season. I've been thinking about this for weeks, about what June deserves, what kind of stories belong in this particular light, what you want beside you on a long afternoon. I have strong opinions and I will share them. Come and sit down. This is the nicest room in the house for a Friday morning. Friday is the day I like to set up a small pleasure for myself for the weekend. Nothing elaborate, just a thing to look forward to. A book I've been saving, or a film I've been meaning to watch, or a walk somewhere I haven't been in a while. If you want to do something alongside me today, I have a very simple invitation. Go and find a book you've been meaning to read. It might be on your shelf, it might be on your phone in an app you forgot exists. It might be half finished on your bedside table. And put it somewhere you will actually pick it up this weekend. Not somewhere virtuous, somewhere you actually sit. Put it on the arm of your favorite chair, or on the kitchen table where you have your Saturday morning herbal tea, or by the bath, wherever you are when you have 10 uninterrupted minutes. That's the spot. Put the book there now, before the weekend, and you will have already made a decision on behalf of your future self, which is one of the kindest things you can do. If you're not a reader, if books aren't your thing, then find your version of this. A film you've been meaning to see, a podcast episode you've been saving, a playlist you haven't made yet. The principle is the same. Prepare one small pleasure in advance, and the weekend will already have somewhere to go. Before we carry on, I want to introduce you to something. You're here because you love the seasons and the rhythms of a life that pays attention to the world around it. And I think that means there's a book with your name on it. It's called Daughter of Water. It's fantasy, elemental, lyrical, with magic rooted in the natural world and a heroine who discovers she was always meant for something larger. My husband and I wrote it together, and I'm quietly proud of it. It's an NIEA finalist. It has 5 stars from Reader's Favorite, and it also was awarded the Bragg Medallion. You'll find it at damps.com, that's DAMPTS.com, and on Amazon. The links are in the show notes. If you give it a chance, it means everything to us. Right, carrying on. I have to share this with you. It's been living in my head all week, which is exactly the thing that means it belongs there. Virginia Woolf, an essay called How Should One Read a Book? Part of a collection called The Common Reader, 1925. I have read this essay several times, and the central line still gets me every single time. The only advice, indeed, that one person can give another about reading is to take no advice, to follow your own instincts, to use your own reason, to come to your own conclusions. Take no advice, follow your own instincts, come to your own conclusions. I love this because she wrote it in an essay giving advice about reading, which I find quite funny, and also because she means it completely. She is saying the thing that makes reading valuable is not that you read the right books, but that you read the books that mean something to you, in the order that makes sense to you, and you think your own thoughts about them rather than borrowing someone else's. I think about this whenever I feel guilty about the books I'm not reading, the classics I haven't finished, the books everyone else seems to have read. Woolf is giving me permission to read what I actually want to read, which in June means something that goes well with open windows and cold drinks and the feeling that the afternoon could go on forever. I'll take that. Come through to the ballroom for a few minutes. I've put something quiet on, solo piano, Friday afternoon music. Take the time to write a few things you'd like to read or watch this summer, even just a list just for yourself, or sit and do nothing. let the music do what it does. I find that music almost unbearably hopeful in the best possible way. Let's go through to the nursery. I want to tell you about a summer and a book. The summer I was 16, I read Jane Austen's Persuasion for the first time. I read it lying in the garden in the shade of the side of the house where the temperature was about 3 degrees cooler than everywhere else, with the sprinkler running somewhere in the distance and the sound of my siblings doing something entirely uninteresting in the background. I don't know why that particular summer and that particular book met the way they did, but I can still, 30 years later, feel the quality of that afternoon, the particular heat of it, the feeling of being completely somewhere else while being entirely in my own garden. I have read Persuasion many times since, and it is always good. It is, I think, Austen's most tender book, but nothing has quite equaled that first summer afternoon with it. Something about the combination of the story and the heat and being 16 and not yet knowing much about any of the things the book was about. That's what I'm chasing when I make a summer reading list. Not the cleverest books, not the most improving, the ones that might, in combination with the right afternoon and the right light, create something you'll still be able to feel in 30 years. Pull the chair closer. I want to see your face when I tell you what's on the list. 5 books. I've been thinking about this for days and I'm committed to each one, so here we go. Charlotte's Web by E.B. White. If you haven't read it since childhood, read it again. It's not the book you think it is from the outside. It's one of the most honest things ever written about love and loss and the particular beauty of an ordinary life. I cannot get through the last 20 pages without sitting very still for a while afterward. It's also a very short book, which means you have no excuse. Second, The Adventures of Huckleberry Finn by Mark Twain. This is a summer book. A boy, a river, a raft, the whole width of the country opening out ahead of them. It has more moral weight in it than most people remember. It's not just an adventure, it's a reckoning, but it reads like an adventure, which is the whole trick of it. Best read in heat, when the afternoon is long and there's no particular reason to be anywhere else. Third, Emma by Jane Austen. For the long summer afternoons, Emma Woodhouse is wrong about almost everything for most of the book and remains completely likable throughout, which is one of the more impressive achievements in all of English literature. It's also genuinely funny, which people forget. A perfect June novel, warm and social and occasionally infuriating in the best way. Okay, number 4, The Great Gatsby by F. Scott Fitzgerald. Short, beautiful, and slightly heartbreaking. It takes place in one summer, a summer of parties and heat and longing and the green light at the end of the dock, and it's the kind of book that changes slightly each time you read it, depending on where you are in your own life. It doesn't take long, it stays with you for a long time. And for reading aloud, or for handing to a child who is ready for something a little magical, Fablehaven by Brandon Mull. A family discovers that their grandparents' property is actually a nature preserve for magical creatures. Fairies in the garden, something living in the herbs. I will tell you honestly that it is completely impossible to walk through a dewy garden in June after reading it without checking the cobwebs. The children are fully convinced, and I have stopped arguing with them. 4 films. I'll keep it short. The 1973 animated Charlotte's Web, the one with the songs, the one I watched as a child and have never quite recovered from. Watch it even if you think you've outgrown it. You haven't. Emma from 2020 with Anya Taylor-Joy. Bright, sharp, exactly the right film for a warm June evening. And the 1974 Great Gatsby, the quieter one, which is a summer film and feels like one. That's the list. 5 books, 3 films, small enough to be useful, long enough to last until August, if you're careful. A moment, because I want to tell you about something that happens on Wednesdays. When I'm in the atelier, which if you've been here a while, you know is one of my favorite days of the week, one of the things I love to do is design patterns. Seasonal things, botanical things, the kind of imagery that belongs in a room that cares about how it looks. My daughter Gwen found her joy in art not so long ago, and we've made it something we do together. She draws, I develop, and somewhere in that back and forth, the designs become what they are. Ladybirds on soft pink linen, folk florals and gentle pastels, botanical prints in muted blues and greens, warm linen textures in cream and beige, the kind of thing that ends up on a tea towel in a kitchen you love, or on fabric for a quilt you've been meaning to start, or on a bag you carry to the farmer's market on Saturday mornings. The shop is called Gwen's Gardenias, named after her because none of it would be what it is without her, and you'll find the fabric and wallpaper on spoonflower and finished goods, pillows, bags, tea towels, and more on Redbubble. Both links are in the show notes. If something catches your eye, it genuinely means the world to both of us. Now, back to the estate. All right, there was a letter this week from someone who writes, I used to read constantly and now I barely manage a chapter a week. My phone is always there and the book never wins. I miss reading, but I can't seem to get back to it. Any suggestions? Oh, I feel this so completely, and I think it's one of the more honest things anyone has said to me in the letterbox. Here's what I think is true. Reading and scrolling are competing for exactly the same thing, which is your idle attention. The moments when you are waiting or tired or have 5 minutes between tasks, and the phone is always there and is always immediately stimulating in a way that a book, especially at the beginning of a chapter, is not. The book requires the first 30 seconds of investment before it rewards you. The phone rewards you instantly. And so the phone wins every single time. The only solution I have found is to make the phone slightly less available and the book slightly more available. That's it. Not a resolution, not a digital detox. Just put the book on the arm of the chair and put the phone in another room when you sit down in the evening. Not every evening, some evenings. Start with one. Because here's what I know. You have not lost your love of reading. You have just lost the habit of beginning. And the beginning is the only hard part. Once you're 20 pages in, the phone doesn't win anymore. The book wins. You just have to get through the first 20 pages. It'll come back. It really will. The pile of books on the table has not shrunk at all this morning. I added another one while we were talking, which was probably not the point of the exercise. But I know what I'm reading this weekend. Charlotte's Web. Again, I've lost count how many times now, because it is June and the garden is full of things I can't quite explain, and I want to sit with a book that understands that completely. I hope your Friday finishes gently, and your weekend has at least one long, quiet afternoon in it. Put the book somewhere you'll actually sit. Trust the first 30 pages. Come back tomorrow. I'll be in the garden. Until then, take good care of yourself.